Okay, so what we're going to do in this first one is we're going to start the RS Logic 5000. I want to show you how to make a program with that. And also want to talk about the different processors and the actual different, when we talk about versions, so to quickly break this down, versions of software is the firmware of the controller. So meaning the processor is being used, right? Being used. So let's have that as an understanding, as a base understanding. Whatever version you choose to use in the software is the firmware is going to have to equal the firmware of the controller that you're using. So again, meaning that the processor, whatever's being used in the processor. So let's go ahead and open up. Let's go ahead and open up RS Logic 5000. So we're going to go to Rockwell Software. We're going to go to RS Logic 5000 Enterprise Series. Then we're going to open up RS Logic 5000. It's going to open up, and again, I have a lot of versions on my computer. You may or may not have all these versions. It really depends on what you installed on your computer, so don't fret if you don't see every one of these versions. We tend to keep multiple versions because I like to have a pretty diverse platform that I can work from. So this will come up again as a basically the blank screen, or you may have a start screen. I choose not to use the start screen because it's just easier for me. So I've came in here to tools and edited that. So if you want to quickly talk about that too, one thing, and I'll show you a couple of tricks that I do later on when we get into programming, but we're going to make a new file right now. So let's make a new file. We're going to then choose our type of processor, right? So in this case, we want to choose a processor, right? So you have the ability to basically choose whatever version you are, whatever processor you currently have. If you have a processor, great. Then all you just do is come in here and choose whichever one you want. If you have a L61, you choose that. If you have a L7 series, then you choose that. When I say series is you have like a series of controllers, like a L 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Then you have the same thing on the L7 is 71, 70, 71S, 72, 72S. The S in the controller name, or the S right here, it means it's a guard logics, means that is a safety controller. So we're not actually going to be talking about the safety controller because programming and safety, there's a lot of implementations that need to happen, and as far as that goes, that you could be breaking a company's safety policy. So I'm not going to actually teach you how to program in the safety. So with that said, you have compact logics. You can choose what compact logics you have. Sorry, it kind of scrolled through that a little fast. Then you can come down here and choose if you have a compact logics. Again, just make sure you're choosing the right thing. We will be programming in two different environments, which is either the emulator, or we'll be programming in an L73. So what I'd like to do is show you both of those. So what I'm going to do is this is the 73 that I have, and then I have an emulator. This one we're going to make as an emulator, and then now that you've chosen your processor, right, you want to come down and choose the version you want to use. So currently in the processor that I currently use, version 10 and 11 are not available. The version 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, because I have those in my software, are available to be used on this actual controller that I've chosen. So I'm going to choose to use version 20 because that's basically the latest thing that RS Logic has. Then we're going to say Udemy class file. So we're going to give it a name. You can name it whatever you want to. You know, just you can put your name in front of it however you want to, or you can just say, you know, my program, you know, whatever the case may be. Just give it a name. The description is not really valid. You can put a description if you want here. I don't generally use descriptions because really honestly nobody really reads them. But I don't choose to use them in my opinion. Down here, as far as the chassis size, this, if you already have a chassis, meaning you already have a back plane, or you already have, and you know, if you have the software, the hardware is basically the chassis size. You know what you have already. If you have a 4 slot, a 7 slot, a 10 slot, a 13, 17, and 5. Being that we're in a emulator environment, you choose what you have on the emulator. You know, we're just going to choose a 10 slot. Actually, I mean, we can go up to 16, but we're going to choose a 10 slot, and then we're going to put our processor in. Probably going to put it in slot 2 because we already have RS links. And RS links in processor in slot 1 or slot 0 and slot 1. So in slot 2 we're going to put our emulator. And the same thing applies if you're using, you know, the hardware. Wherever you're putting your processor, you need to make sure your processor's in the proper slot number. If not, then when you go to download, it's going to say it's not going to be found. Then you can choose where to create the file. If you want to create the file on the default section that Rockwell gives you, the default section that Rockwell gives you is your C drive, RSLogix 500, and then projects. You can choose to, you know, put that somewhere else if you wanted to. Like if you wanted your desktop, you can choose your desktop, whatever you wanted to do. In this case, we're going to leave it as the default location that Rockwell chooses to give us. And then we're going to hit OK. Now, once we select all that and we have all our stuff selected properly, it's going to make the file. So you see down here, and we're going to talk about this, right? So it gives your controller, basically your controller name up here, your controller tags, your controller fault handler, and that's only if you choose to program it, a power up handler. Again, that's only if you choose to program it. The task itself is your task that houses all your controls for your system. In the task, you could have many different tasks up under the main task. This is when I say the main task, I mean the folder level. So you could have many different things up underneath the folder level. Like, for instance, they have. Excuse me, I need to get some water real quick. Okay. So I apologize for that. So in the task itself, you have your main task that comes default. You can have many different tasks up under that. So don't fret. We'll go through that and learn how to actually add multiple tasks and how to. We'll go through and talk about the structure a little bit more. But I want to give a rough overview right now. Exactly what this lays out. So we're gonna make a file on RSLogix 5000, and then we're gonna make a file on Studio 5000, and then compare the differences between the two, so that you kind of get exactly what so you get a really good understanding, and then we'll carry on to actually talking about the structure of both. So then you have your motion groups. Your motion groups are, again, going to be if you have any servo controls. And again, if you have been through my servo course, you know exactly what to do here. If you have not been through my servo course on Udemy, I recommend doing that. But first, finish this course first. And that would definitely help you in that. The add-on instructions is if you have any instructions that you've actually made. That's what Rockwell calls an add-on instruction. They give you the ability to make your own instructions. So not only do they have a bunch of instructions that they have pre-made for you, which is, I mean, you don't have to make an instruction whatsoever if you don't choose to, because you don't need to. They give you everything you possibly could need. But if you choose to make your own instruction to make your job easier, then they give you that ability too. So this is where that would go, is that add-on instruction portion. The data types are, you can use user-defined data types, which is something that you make. It's usually actually classified as a UDT. This is where you would make your own data type. You could select new, import stuff. You can do whatever you want to. We will again go through that more. The strings, then you have your add-on defined, which if you have an add-on instruction, it will pop up down here under your data types as add-on defined. You have your predefined, which is everything that Rockwell gives you. So if you wanted to if you happen to want to go in here and see what all is involved into a CAM profile, or you wanted to see what is all involved with the generic axis, you can see all the different tags that they give you and stuff you can reference from there. Again, we're not going to get too far into this first module, because I don't want to overload what you're kind of getting. So trends down here, this trends folder, is where you can make your own trends if you want to make your own, you want to trend a certain function, or you want to be able to understand something a little better. It gives you a graph, and you can set up the graph to actually work really well. For those of you who have seen a lot of my YouTube videos, you understand exactly how I use trends and what the benefits are and to different things. So now we finally get to our I/O configuration. Our I/O configuration is going to be our backplane, which we chose when we selected the file. We chose the backplane to be a 10 slot chassis, which you see 1756/A10, which is 10 slots. We chose our processor to be in slot 2, and then we have the name of our processor. So this, after you add all your, like if you add anything else to this, you can add modules, you can do whatever you want to from this point. But when you add stuff down below here, that's where you add all your modules if you have hardware. And we will do that as well. We'll go through and make we'll tie them to my hardware system, and we'll make everything I currently have so that you can see how I do it. And there's an easier way and there's a harder way. Both ways work perfectly fine. We'll show you both of those ways so that you get a full understanding of how to do that. So again, we'll close this video out now that we've made this, and now on the next one we're gonna make a program on Studio 5000 and show you, and then we'll break down the difference between the two. Okay, so we'll conclude this video and pick up where the next one, as far as making a Studio 5000. All right, well, thank you again.